What's up, runners? Coach Morgan here, and I consider myself to be a decently competitive runner and competitive person, and I'm always judging myself off of how good or bad I'm doing based on what my race times are. So as we got into March and realized that there probably weren't going to be any races this year, I just didn't know what it was going to hold. I had a very detailed plan scheduled out for the entire year, and that was just poof, gone in an instant. I knew that there were going to be some pretty tough times ahead, but I had to change my mindset, and I think 2020 turned out to be pretty okay for me. Just want to give a quick shout out to Strava for sponsoring this video. You know, I'm doing my year in review on Strava for you guys. I'm just giving you a quick recap. So if you have not done so, I urge you to go do it. It's so cool to see everything that you did this year. So be sure to go check it out. Now, I am not trying to downplay what has happened this year whatsoever. I just need to look at the positives sometimes. So for me, that included when the 2020 Boston Marathon got canceled. That was supposed to be my redemption race. You know, I had a really bad 2019 Boston, so I was supposed to just like come back and hit this so hard. But instead, we got to run it virtual and make up our own route in San Francisco. And I got to do it with my fiance, so that was so much fun, and still ran a decently respectable time, faster than the year before. So, you know, in my mind, that was a plus. When the relay race called the Speed Project got canceled, I was supposed to go on this super epic journey from LA to Vegas and run with a bunch of my close friends, and we were all going to be in a van. But instead, what we did was do a makeshift, the Speed Project DIY, which we have a video on if you guys want to check that out. We got to pick our own routes again in San Francisco, and I still got to do it with our friends, so I think it made that even a little bit more special. When the Broken Arrow Sky Race got canceled, we actually just went up there and ran parts of the course by ourselves. So that was a really cool experience that I definitely wouldn't trade. And while there were no races to train for, I still had that competitive edge. So we decided to take down some of the Strava segments, and I got 49 crowns this year. So that was really fun to compete against people who have run these same routes for years and years. And it was kind of cool and empowering to take those down, but you know, adds a little bit more competition right here locally where you don't have to be face to face to compete. So that was pretty cool. So along with all of my running, I added in cross-country skiing, swimming, and rock climbing, 3 sports that I had maybe touched on in the past, and I think I came out a much stronger runner. So I'm really thankful that I was able to do those things. I've also always owned a bike and really just used it for commuting purposes, but this year I put in about 458 miles on the bike, which is way more than I've ever even come close to doing total in my entire life of biking. We had to stay pretty local, so we went up to Tahoe a lot of the weekends and got to explore new mountain ranges and new trails, and one of those weekends ended up with a life-changing surprise when my now fiance got on his knee to propose to me, and I will never forget that because I have it logged. You can see my heart rate go up. I did not stop my watch. So, you know, being able to look back on that, I mean, that's kind of priceless in my mind. And on Halloween, I finally got to toe the line at a race. And I was so much more appreciative of the race and of the volunteers and of just racing in general. And I think I've just taken it for granted, as many of us probably have over the years. We don't always get to race. It's a privilege. So when I got to toe the line at Javelina 100-mile race, which a distance that I had never done before, it was a brand new experience for me all around. You know, I realized that I do love to race. I love to train and to run, and I think this year just really instilled that in me, but it also gave me a new perspective on what racing means to me. And now this was just my journey that I had in 2020. I had a lot of ups, but also a lot of downs. But I urge you to look back on your year, find the positives. Maybe it's just that you found an appreciation for running that you knew was there, but it's just really a lot more powerful now. So I want to thank Strava for giving us this opportunity to be able to look back on our year and see it day by day. And you know, that's not often that we get to look back and see everything that's happened to us. So thank you so much, Strava, for sponsoring this video. And if you guys want to see a little bit more, you can check out my Strava link. It is down in our description below. So, you know, go check out. I have all my pictures up there and everything fun that I got to do this year, and I encourage you guys to do the same. My 100-mile race at the Javelina 100 was one of the most epic things I got to do in 2020. So if you guys want to check it out, I did a whole video on it right over here. It's just a great recap of how I felt during the race and what racing in 2020 really looked like. So go ahead and check it out, and I will catch you guys in the new year.